Happy 2026, my friends at Film Fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. The 2026 may be the beginning of a new year, but we are here still talking about the old craziness that is going on in the nuclear winter that is the television show Fallout on Amazon Prime. Here to talk about with me, as always, is my head of life mate, Jeremy. What's up, brother?
Well, I have traded in my red upside down background for a little lighter shade of orange. If you're a fan of Fallout, you're a fan of Nat King Cole, so you're a fan of the orange colored sky. So that's where we're at now.
Yeah, the music in this show is on point. Also, this oldie shit like that, because remember this whole thing kind of somewhere after World War II in the 50s is when the world kind of goes sideways. So they hold on to that musical motif, and I'm kind of digging the musical tones of this show.
It's the soundtrack. It's the soundtracks that are so awesome in these games. It's like this and like something like Doom, where they're like, I'm really glad that it was really sweet of them to make this video game for this soundtrack that somebody made just for this whole thing. Yeah, no, it's something. I mean, this music's something I listen to like we're cleaning, do something around the house. There's I guess I could say a fellow YouTuber. There's somebody that's always got it on like on a stream for all the radio stations from 3, New Vegas, and 4. I believe the channel's called Old World Radio 2 now, I think. They're always live streaming the music from the game. So if you ever want to check that out, it's up there. So
yeah, every now and again I'll listen to this YouTube channel called Nemo's Dreamscapes. During Halloween, they'll play they'll have like a picture. It's kind of like a 3D. It'll be a little bit of graphic, whatever done to it. And he'll play old Halloween hits. He won't play like Thriller or anything too modern, but it's like a lot of old big band stuff. But when I'm trying to relax, one of the constant streams they got going, it's that one picture of the diner in New York where the guy's sitting there smoking a cigarette and the car going by. It's like an animated version of that. Every now and again a car will drive by and it just plays like old radio hits from the early 40s. And every now and again, I'll just put that on to kind of get the blood pressure down and relax, and then remember that I'm almost old enough to remember this music was played all the
time. Right.
Almost.
This one, oh yeah, you're not. I'm definitely not there. You're not quite there, so we can feel good about that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Still a lot of gray in the hair though. So. But
It's already a bandana.
We're obviously here to talk about episode 2 of Fallout: The Golden Rule, and let's get right into it. The opening scene was one of hope. It was kind of interesting how they started out in such a positive area and then immediately kind of go into like the chaos. We start out with, like I said, with a lot of hope that moves to devastation. This guy is obviously finding a way to get some clean water in the aftermath of the initial bombings when all this stuff goes to hell in this timeline, which would have been 200 plus years ago. And it was pretty cool to see it go from this really lighthearted kind of positive moment to this guy coming into town and bringing the hell with him, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jeremy, what do you think about this opening scene? Obviously, it tells us where Maximus comes from. I'm pretty sure that's who that is, the kid in the beginning of
Young Maximus, yes.
But it gives us a little bit of the background of Maximus, everything that he's experienced, a little bit of what he's experienced at this point, kind of sets up a little bit of his character's return to the series after not being around in episode 1. What do you think of the opening scene?
It just, it goes to show there's a theme throughout these two that it never really lasts long. Any of these nice moments or anything hopeful, like we were saying, like this might be about 20 some ish years ago if we're assuming Maximus is in his late 20s, maybe he's like 30 or so. Might be around my age. So and it's kind of like, again, knowing lore, and I'm like, well, this is Shady Sands and we know what happens. And we do at least get the we get the line, if there is ever a line in these games that are as famous as like, I used to be an adventurer like you till I took an arrow in the knee. It's this guy rolling up, and it's always the NCR, not the ranger, the soldier always saying like, patrolling the Mojave always makes you wish for a nuclear winter. So yeah, they're doing the things, they're doing all the stuff, and it makes me happy. We kind of find out, yeah, he was also being mind controlled, which kind of seems to be this overarching themes that we're seeing with some of these vaults and with what Hank McLean's doing. And yeah, it really sucks that, like, this guy found a way to, like, siphon this clean water out of the ground, and knowing, like, oh, there's more, like, we could get crops, we could actually have water to drink, that'd be fine, we could, this is a good thing. And I'm like, yeah, and we've all seen a movie before, so that's gonna be squashed out here in the next 30 seconds. And yeah, sure enough, it does. I mean, you don't want this guy rolling up with a nuclear bomb in his cart, which is unfortunately what happens. We see what happened, why the big crater exists where right there where Shady Sands was. Yeah, it sucks how quickly some of that shit can just be stripped away from you in no time. And as much as I want to give this show credit, I'm like, you did not just Indiana Jones for him into existence because you hid in the fucking refrigerator.
I could hear myself in my head repeating nuke the fridge, over and over and over.
Yep.
Over and over and over again. I was like,
I know.
Nuke the fridge, nuke the fridge.
Yeah, we're doing the Indiana Jones thing again. I'm like, whatever. I don't know. Is it any more plausible that, like, this kid's like, I don't know what, maybe 9 or 10 years old, whereas Harrison Ford was like, God, what, like 60 something by that point? Did not break all of his bones. I don't know, but yeah, I don't think that's the main issue I have with him being able to survive. I think it's just the fact that you put yourself in this dinky little fridge, and I don't care how lead lined it is, it's not going to save you.
Especially when you're 50 feet away from a nuclear explosion. I don't think being a lead line fridge is really going to save you at that point.
No, I think, remember there's that area of, like, shit's like thermonuclear, boom, and it melts. I'm like, no, it's not that. It's not just, oh, woof, he got thrown over because of the explosion. I'm like, no, you melt first and then the shockwave, and as we see, then the fallout. See what I did? I said the thing. It happens afterward. Yeah. My only way I can kind of bring it back is, again, Bethesda. Well, this was Obsidian. Sorry, Obsidian made New Vegas. They lean into the funny a little bit with this game because they know it's it's just goofy sometimes. But if you take the Wild Wasteland perk in New Vegas, there will be moments of things that they're not there if you play the game normally. If you add the perk in, these weird little events will happen. And this is actually one of the very first ones you see. They make a joke towards the Indiana Jones movie. And I'm assuming that's what this is a reference to. The first town you get out of, if you look off on the side of the road, there is a refrigerator stuck in the ground. And there's a skeleton inside wearing a brown fedora. I'm like, I understood that reference. So maybe that's the tie-in, and I can give it a half point back. But yeah, I don't know. It's a devastating scene. It just sucks. That's you had one good thing going for you, and it again because, and I will say this as we're going to talk about it a little more. I mean, I think Hank McLean, especially Kyle MacLachlan playing him, does a really good. I think he's becoming a favorite bad guy of mine because I'm like, it's not like he's really physically intimidating. It's just like, God, this guy has just got shit going on, but it's just dirty. It's just slimy. The stuff he does, like, I don't know how you go from nuking a town to, like, all right, I'm gonna read my child a bedtime story. I'm like, dude, my God, he switches it on and off. It's terrifying in a different reason. It's like how you think that, like, Lex Luthor has to be still intimidating against a guy who is literally a god, in Superman. So
yeah, I was actually just thinking the example I had of, like, Terrence Stamp. He's not much to look at, but when you see Superman go toe-to-toe with Zod, you realize that he is very much a former.
Yeah. So
yeah, I loved the dichotomy, the sudden change of direction that happens in this scene. I mean, obviously the entire episode wasn't going to be all butterflies and rainbows, but it's like seeing this little bit of hope, this guy finding some non-radiated water that will help a lot in trying to keep people alive, and then 30 seconds later, if that, somebody walks into town and falls over, and then he's got a bomb on him, and then there's this mad scramble to try to defuse the bomb, which of course doesn't work. So they make that gut-wrenching decision to at least save their kid. There were two shots in this sequence though that I thought were brilliantly done. One was this one, like the as the light is the explosion is starting behind them, I like how it drags out for that half a second, and you see the light building between them, which I thought was a great shot, very emotional shot.
Mhm.
And every time you can do a good nuclear explosion on TV, I'm pretty impressed.
Yep, there's something that is kind of weird. I mean, if you see like footage of them, sometimes it's weirdly beautiful, but it's in that way that it's terrifying. Like you wouldn't want to be anywhere near that, but it's like if you saw it, it's just like what do you do? It's weirdly awe-inspiring in like a really dark way.
Yeah,
Just
very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. But moving on, we obviously get the return of Maximus in this episode. I'm not entirely sure why he wasn't in the first episode at all, but I mean, it kind of worked out in the end. I feel like
we're seeing what he's doing now.
True. But he obviously pops back up in this episode, and he is full-fledged into the whatever the hell group that is. I forget. You'll know the name.
Brotherhood of Steel.
The Brotherhood of Steel. That's right. We find him at first on a mission to go get the key, which apparently is some kind of electronic hard drive of some kind that allows them to get the cold fusion stuff online so that they can start whatever it is they're going to be doing over the course of this season. Yeah, it was great seeing Maximus back, but there was a lot of stuff about this scene, about the sequences surrounding him, his interactions with Quintus, the old man, and also his interactions with Dane, which it's obviously they're going to be a source of some character growth for him this year. What do you think of Maximus coming back and everything, and that mission, and what the key represents to the Brotherhood?
Well, it's good seeing Max again because, like I said, now we're seeing what he's gotten up to since Lucy and the Ghoul took off to go find Lucy's dad, and he was kind of left behind there with the fact that they think he killed Moldaver, which was at least some sort of big head in the NCR, which is kind of one of their big enemies, the Brotherhood. They might still be a little sore that they lost that fucking war against them, which is hilarious. I mean, really, it's hilarious when you think about it. That they're actually mostly just humans, and as I say, that you got your ass kicked by a bunch of yeehaws. You did, but you actually got kicked by a bunch of fucking rednecks. Like, you guys are literally the technologically superior faction. As you see, they have the power armors. They're always on a quest for technology and preserving technology. That's what the Brotherhood's about, or is supposed to be about. If you like, they do mention it in this, which I do like, that there are kind of just like splintered off like factions of the Brotherhood that are either having different ideals or different ways to deal with stuff, or they take the mission the wrong way, or they take their goal and kind of go a different way with it, or they all just kind of war with each other and they're scattered against different ways. Like, when you come across some in like 3 where they're like, oh, these are outcasts, they're a Brotherhood outcast, and you think, oh, well, they must have done something wrong or they've just been shunned. It's like, no, actually they're actually the ones who are right, and the Brotherhood that's pretty well instilled that you come across are like the ones that have kind of gone off the rails. So it's cool to see that, and it's interesting to see that something as a faction this big has kind of gotten to this point. And you kind of see there with your Godfather-esque, head of the 5 families meeting going on here. And like I said, that is kind of their goal. When I think that lady on the very far right even says it, like, yeah, I mean, maybe rules are up for interpretation because we all kind of have this same goal in mind. We may just, the means of how we get there might differ from how they all agree to go about it. It's kind of terrifying to see what they might do. I'm still hoping that, I mean, I think we saw some or no, that was in the beginning, sorry. Because Shady Sands is like the center of like the NCR.
Well, it says on the sign it's the first capital of the. Let me pull this thing back up again. First capital of the new California Republic.
Yeah. So I mean, and then they we're assuming Mr. House or somebody just carried out a like remote controlled terrorist attack on him, basically, which is kind of shitty. Like I said, as much as I love this Brotherhood of Steel tattoo on my arm, I'm like, I do kind of favor the NCR a little better. I mean, I like the Brotherhood. It is cool. I like their motives, at least the ones that are still doing the right things. Then they're kind of like what the Army basically became, the U.S. military Army. They got, the suits, and that's kind of what our military force became. But yeah, I'm still kind of wondering like what exactly they're doing, and I'm of course wondering if Liberty Prime might be something we see. If you know, you know. They mentioned the Commonwealth, which is the one from 4. I'm like, well, I think they have it, which is why they're saying like, oh, the Commonwealth can kick our ass. I'm like, yeah, because they got this giant robot that doesn't give a fuck about how you feel. That's what that is.
I could have swore I had the picture. I could have swore I pulled the picture of her dad putting down his Pip-Boy when it said detonation successful as he walks over to read a young Lucia story. How did I not get that picture? I'm very mad at myself now. But yeah, I had that up to. I had that up to get it. I don't know why I didn't. It's weird. Anyway,
kind of a gut punching shot. But yeah, they're playing here, and it seems like some civil war's about to happen.
It tells you how, not only that he's really interrupted by a system or by circumstance. It's like he's been the bad guy from the very beginning. He's been on the whole we're going to nuke everybody and then pick up the pieces afterwards train. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also really interested to find out that they use this key to find what essentially is Area 51. It's only marked as AR-51 in the show. I don't know if it's different in the game or not, but pretty obviously Area 51. They roll up in there, and of course they find what they open the door, and the first thing they find is this. Yes. So it's like, it's obvious what AR-51 is. I thought that was a whole lot of fun. But so obviously they're there. Are they going to make this their base, or is there something specifically there that draws them there?
It might be the fact that, well, remember, this is, I think it is so-called Area 51 because this is slightly alternate history. So it's like, this is probably like supposed to be this world's version of that. It's not exactly the one that we know of, in our own timeline. And it still probably became, that's still pretty close to the same time period when things started to diverge, which is right after World War II. I would think there's some sort of way that they can get the power, or maybe even just like the munitions or the resources they need that are within this base to do what they want to do. Because when I don't know if you have a picture of it, when they brought out those fusion cores, and they had stacks on stacks on stacks of fusion cores, and that's an insane amount of power. Because they're like, where'd you get these? Like, how did that work? Like, fusion cores, like I said, they power generators. They power just about anything. They power their suits, even at least in the game. They power the power armor suits. So they're like, basically, if we have an infinite amount of these power cores, like till the end of like the next 12 lifetimes, like we can kind of we can do whatever we want because we're basically we're God now. So I imagine that's kind of what their whole MO is.
Yeah, it says that Area 51 they began construction. This is our real life in 1955, known as Paradise Ranch. So if this happened in the late 50s, early 60s, which kind of makes sense, then Area 51 would have existed when the Fallout stuff
would have existed the same way, but just slightly different. Yeah. So
yeah, it's there. It's just it's their version of the Upside Down.
Right.
They don't even have the wormholes at work. We'll get to that here. We'll get to that next week.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. But yeah, I thought it was a really cool scene. I mean, it's interesting to see that the Brotherhood is, while they are together, they are also separate at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because like even when the one guideline, maybe there's just more guidelines or the rules, that kind of thing. It was like, obviously there's no honor amongst thieves when it comes to these people. Also, that's Brian Jordan, by the way. Is that his name? Yeah, Brian Thompson, rather. I'm sorry. That guy with the cigar, the middle left.
Yeah.
He's the guy that played the killer in Cobra, in Stallone's movie Cobra that we did.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen him in stuff for years. He was actually just in 911, the TV show that I watch a lot. He had a small arc in that. But yeah, I think it's interesting to see that while they are essentially all together, that they are more than willing to kind of shit on one another which I find kind of funny. Which of course brings on the arrival of someone who I've been waiting to see for a while, Xander Harkness. I love Camille Nanjiani. I always pronounce his name wrong. I'm one of those people that thinks that the Eternals is actually a pretty good movie. It was a different Marvel movie. I liked it a lot more than a lot of people did, but I think he's a fantastic actor. I've seen him in a couple of things since then. He's been very good in it. I've already read about episode 3, which is out, so I know how things are going to go for him, which is kind of disappointing. But spoiler alert. But yeah, but give me an idea as to what his character actually is, because we're not going to get a big dose of him. But he comes in right at the end of the episode, and he's going to be a big part of the next episode, I believe. What is that guy? What does he bring to the story?
Well, I might be on the other side of the coin, because I'm just like, God, you're in fucking everything, and you just annoy me because you're the same person every time. Like, I'm like, good, he's gonna be the same goofy ass fucking person he always is. I'm like, can you maybe do something a little different? I don't know. It's not like I don't know. I'm on the other side of the coin with you guys, like with Pedro Pascal. I'm like, I don't care that he's in a lot of stuff. Maybe it's the same way I kind of feel about him, the actor. I nothing against the actor. I'm just like, you just are the same person. You are a genuinely funny guy, but I'm just like, that's the same character you play all the time. And when he stepped out of the vertebrate, I was kind of hoping, because I'm like, yeah, you could still bring some like gravitas to something, because if you're one of the paladins, I wondered, because that's supposed to probably represent a flight jacket, like we always see, like the bomber jackets from like World War II and shit. Now I wondered, because he said he was actually from the Commonwealth, and I wish I had a picture of him. The elder from the Commonwealth in 4 has a jacket very, very similar to that. So that's what I was wondering, if he's the elder for them. But he said he was one of the paladins. So I don't know. Like, I know he's supposed to be representing the other side, the other side of the country right now, with the Brotherhood, because he kind of feels like, hey, I was left out of this conversation. So yeah, interesting. I haven't seen episode 3, but I'm assuming, I'm guessing he doesn't last very long, which that kind of sucks. So I'd love to see this butting of heads between him and basically the other factions of the Brotherhood that all kind of decide to just put their differences aside and go against them. Which is still a pretty ballsy move, because it's like you still have like the snake with its head cut off. You're like, you have these guys that don't really have any direction, because they're all kind of set in their own ways, and they're all trying to, swing fists at the other bit of the Brotherhood, who actually does have its shit together. So, and probably the numbers for it and the technology for it.
The action sequence when they tried to, for some reason, Lucy and all of her good naturedness decides to go hunting after where these screens were coming from to see if she could help somebody. And of course,
you never do that.
Yeah, I never do that. Not in a video game, not in a movie. They end up finding this weird lady who obviously the ghoul recognizes. What's he called? Togas or something like that? Is that right?
Yeah, I think he's tunic. He said tunics.
Tunics. Yeah. That's right. Now, are these from the game? Because I feel like these might be something new.
That specifically, I think so, because she doesn't seem like. Well, we see them, and I'll jump ahead here a little bit. Like, we see them at the end. I'm like, that's usually what you come across, is these. I kind of caught it too when he said tunics. I'm like, I think you mean togas, because I think we're talking about Caesar's Legion right here. Now that she may just be someone who was unfortunately, like, maybe, like, to put it in perspective, like maybe a peasant of some sort, like someone who's just a citizen of that, not necessarily like somebody who's in their military or in their ranks, like the guys we see at the end.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really something you see a lot of time when you see Caesar's Legion. You see the guys in the armor, and I think I don't know if you got a picture of it, but the guy with the Viper, the one that has the big wolf head on top of him.
I don't know if it's this picture or not. I don't know.
I hope, because admittedly, I'm like, as much as I also don't like Caesar's Legion, because again, I'm still an NCR fanboy. Those Vipers with the big wolf heads. Hats mounted on their heads are pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's something a little new. She may have just kind of, like he said, like, yeah, you're a little too far west, ain't you? Like, how she wandered out there or why, but it's still kind of the same sentiment in my favorite companion of Boone from New Vegas. I don't care who you are. If you're in the Legion, you're catching a sniper round to the dome. I'm like, that's fair. They're also slavers. I'm like, yeah. If you see anybody there, you're either a Legion person or you're in a cage with a explosive collar around your neck, or you're dead, or which I'm thinking. I think maybe already got spoiled for me, but it's not like a shock. The Legion likes to crucify people, so there's there's that too. So, or they like to play the lottery, which that's another if you know you know from the game, and it's not the kind of lottery you want to play. Because trust me, even if you win second place, they'll break your kneecaps and leave you to die. You might have lived with your life, but you're not walking no more. So,
not
everybody always loses.
Yeah, not a very fun lottery.
It's not. That's a fun encounter in the game. Whole town's like crucified and burning, and then the one guy who like lived, he's like, "I won the lottery." He's like hysterical. He's screaming about how he won the lottery, and he takes off, and I'm like, "What the fuck happened here?" I walk in town, and like there's rows of people in Main Street of town are all crucified. And you can't help them, and the guy who won second place is curled up in this little shop over here, and he's like, yeah, if you can get them, they're on the other side of the camp. There's some people left who didn't actually get killed. They got drug out of here, and it's a little side quest. And I'm like, oh, cool. And he's like, he's also kind of an asshole about it. He's like, well, fucking forgive me if I won't get up and go get them myself because I fucking can't. I'm like, okay, Gimpy, I'll go help you. Whatever. It's XP. It's all XP in the end.
Yeah, and despite the ghoul's warning, she walks in there and. Of course, no good deed goes unpunished. They were into a bunch of mutated giant scorpions, and I'm sad this is the only good picture I can get of the big one. But yeah, that was quite an adventure that they found themselves in. Of course, Lucy finds herself tied up with a couple of baby scorpions, which those alone are terrifying. To say nothing of Big Mama, who I thought was really hilarious. And she's walking out, one of the baby scorpions comes walking underneath her, and she just grabs it and eats it. I was like, "Damn,
that's nature."
That's all the proof I need. The ruthless as shit. What do you think of the whole fight scene between the good guy and the mutated insects? Which are
red scorpions are not fun. I was wondering of some of the, the flora and fauna of Fallout, which is a hard thing to say. I was wondering which things we're going to get for New Vegas, because New Vegas does have some terrifying things, like the giant red scorpions. And even the baby red scorpions, like we saw, I mean, that's about the size of a small dog, and it's sitting there face-hugging Lucy like it was from Alien, They're not fun. They're kind of tanky, and, man, that tail gets you, and it's a bad day. I think the design looked pretty cool, and it does kind of give the sense of, like, why you would not... Yeah, that thing. Why you would not want to come across one of these, and it sucks because I know it got. I think there was a shot of it in the trailer, which I was excited about. So I know we're gonna get a death claw because I know that's gonna be the ultimate, the ultimate predator in this series that we're gonna get. Something else that I would love to see that is amongst something the fans also hated that game is the Cazadors. They're these big winged, I think they're called like murder hornets or something in real life. They're only about, yay big around. I've seen one in real life out that way on the Southwest. They're these big hornets that their bodies are black and they get these real bright orange wings. But these things are like the size of like a fucking eagle. And they're also no joke. So yeah, it's like I said, this world's filled of terrifying, not just people, but also these animals too.
Yeah, I also love the way that the ghoul manages to dispatch Mama Scorpion by popping a grenade and basically jamming it in her mouth. Boy, sometimes the special effects, even if they are kind of cheesy, are just like well placed, perfectly timed. And what do you think about the way that he dealt Scorpion?
Yeah, sometimes you got to get up close and personal. That's gonna be the way to do it, I guess. I mean, I think getting put on his ass. And I don't think he was able to get to his guns in time. Lucy, like I said, Lucy was kind of dealing with her own little baby scorpions, swinging a frying pan at him. So, yeah, you got to find the opening and just fucking shove one in there, because otherwise you just got to chip away at it. That's one way to do it. Just throw it in there and kick yourself away. I remember what he said, but it made me giggle. I don't know if he said like "fuck you, sweetheart, eat up" or some shit. Threw it at her. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because he jammed the grenade in her mouth, and I'm like, is she not trying to chew on your arm? Because she basically, in 4 bites, took care of that little scorpion that she ate on the way out the door. Yeah. Could she not bite down on his arm while he's jamming that grenade into her mouth?
I thought he like stuck it through her side or something. I didn't know if he like shoved it in her mouth. Like,
maybe I missaw it. Like I said, I was trying to get the stream together and watch it at the same time, which I don't like doing, but it was necessary at the time. But so maybe I missed it. I thought that he had popped like the spoon off of it and just got jammed in her mouth. And he didn't just like jam it in there and let her eat it like you would feed a dog a treat. He just kind of went and like almost elbow deep, kind of like jammed it in there, and then kicked her off of him. And then while she's laying on her back on the floor, grenade goes off, and the obvious outcome. But yeah, that was good special effects. I was digging that. One of the things that happened in this scene that I thought was really interesting is Lucy makes a pretty clear choice. She has the one stim pack, and the girl, the weird lady that they rescue, she has been injured by one of the scorpions. So also has the ghoul been injured by one of the scorpions, and she's only got the one stim pack, and she decides to give it to the girl, and it kind of it's like she's trying to send him. I think this is her naivete still kind of running over her. She's got to know by now that he's not going to change. And maybe that's kind of one of the things that she was really getting. I don't know. Like, this guy's never going to freaking change. So why am I going to give it to him when I could help this person who I know nothing about? What do you think about that moment? Because I thought that was an interesting twist in their relationship, I thought.
That was a cool way to set up that moment where, I'm like, now she has a choice to make. Now she has one stim pack, and even though, I mean, I know you're kind of sore at him all the time, I'm like, but the thing is, even if, no matter how naive you may be, I'm like, he's been around this whole time. He knows what he's doing. He knows who she is right off the bat. And I know it's, he's immediately like, yeah, screw this person. I'm like, it's kind of like Lucy. I'm like, there might be a reason for that. I'm like, I don't know how oblivious you are still going to be, but like, I mean, that's where I got my line, my quote for tonight. When he's like, "Well, golden rule, motherfucker." I'm like, Lucy, you're gonna find out, man. Being nice in the apocalypse is not gonna get you very far. Especially this one, who is gonna lead you back somewhere where you don't want to be. Which is, I'm pretty sure, we see her at the end of that. That I think that picture you had there, where she's surrounded by all the Caesar's Legion troops. So. Yeah, even though I'm like, the ghoul can heal himself with radiation, which is pretty abundant in this world. I mean, she did even kind of give him that was her kind of giving him the middle finger, like, I'm not going to help you, because she's like, well, she'll die, you wouldn't, more than likely not going to die from this. So, but like I said, in later down the road, I'm like, it's going to bite you in the ass, Lucy. So. That's how it goes.
Yeah, aside from sending the message, I also thought it was odd that she chose to leave him there while she went off on her own to take this girl to wherever she was going, which the ghoul even says is kind of outside grounds. And then, of course, she becomes a damsel in distress and gets caught by these people who explain to me who these people are and what they are in the game.
Okay, so this again is like where I'm wondering how they're going to handle. This is a pretty big faction, a pretty important one to the game. Not only, oh God, sorry, I'm like, there's 5 different directions and things I want to explain, but I'm trying to like find the where do I start? So, because I'm like wondering how they're going to explain like where they're at in this present time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So kind of your 2 big factions in New Vegas are the NCR and the Legion. And Caesar's Legion is this group, and as you can see, they kind of take a few pages out of the actual Caesar's book. They dress in these very Roman Empire-esque type armors, and they're a pretty brutal. They're a pretty ruthless a group. Like I said, they kind of go the Genghis Khan route. They are just kind of scorch earthing, and they just kind of like, hey, either you join us or we're just going to kill your whole town, burn you, kneecap you, crucify you. It's all just to send the message. That's kind of their thing. And I wonder if we'll see it, because I would hope that, again, something else that we see in this season is what happened to Hoover Dam, because that's out that way. There's a battle that the NCR and the Legion get into over Hoover Dam. Actually, twice. When you're playing the game, that's the second time they have a tussle over that. But of course, you can choose. It depends on which faction you want to side with. I mean, you could side with them. You could side with the NCR. You could try to get the Brotherhood, who is out there. Although they're not very fun because they like to stay underground in their little bunker. And they're a bunch of assholes. So screw that particular faction of the Brotherhood. The Khans, who we saw in the very beginning, the Great Khans are another one that you can side with, have them help you out. There's also the Kings, which I think we might see a little bit of. The Elvis impersonators. Don't ask questions. It just is what it is. I'm telling you. And yes, their leader is called the King. And he looks, talks, and acts like Elvis. It's kind of cool. But yeah, these guys, they're kind of no joke. They're kind of the really ruthless ones. Like I said, I don't know what, because I want to know, is their leader, who is in fact, his name is Caesar, is he still alive? Because in the game, I think he has like a brain tumor or something, like, so he's kind of on his way out. He's not doing so hot. So that's kind of one of the things he, wants you to help him with. But so I'm saying I don't know who's heading this faction, but there could be some legates who are also, they're kind of like his right-hand guys. So I don't know. Yeah, they're, like I said, they're not the ones to be walking into. So like I said, they're slavers. They torture people, towns, shit like that.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to be seeing Macaulay Culkin in the next episode too, because he plays their leader, I believe. So we're probably going to see him in the next episode.
I was wondering what. Okay, sweet.
Which is going to be cool, but
could be Caesar's son. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know what. Now I'm looking at the episode thing, so it doesn't have him in here specifically, but.
Well, because this takes place like 10 years after the game New Vegas, so this is about 2297. He could have been like a little kid.
He's playing Lacerda Legate, a high-ranking member of the Legion, a society inspired by ancient Roman traditions.
Okay, so like I just mentioned, like there might be some legates who could be the ones who stepped in for power, because that's kind of your next one down. So if he's one of the legates, that's interesting. Okay. That's cool.
I'll take your word for it in the explanation, because I have no fucking clue about how this goes.
I know, I've heard it still, and you're like, no, that's fair.
But moving on from that, obviously we still have to address the big thing about him deciding to bring everybody out of deep freeze. Norm, that is, bring everybody out of deep freeze as a way of trying to figure out his own way out of there. I thought it was very interesting that he defrosted all of these people who were planning on being defrosted one at a time over the course of a very, very, very long time to run their particular vaults. I guess most of Vault 31, looking at their uniforms in this picture. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about where he is right now? Because I think it's interesting that he basically lies to these people. The moment he defrosts them, I think he goes from here.
I mean, it was very smart, and I was thinking game wise. I'm like, damn, this dude seriously maxed out all the speech options in his speech perk, because I mean, you can do lies, and the lies are more effective if you do have a higher speech perk. So, like I said, I'm telling you, kids, put points into, if there's a game that has, you can put points into speech or like charisma or something like that, which is more effective if you have a higher charisma. Sometimes that is the way. That's the way out, and you don't even have to lift a finger or lift a gun. It's that's usually at least a secondary option, which is also highly effective. But yeah, that's pretty funny how he just straight up, because he knew that that's the only way he's going to get these people to listen to him. And I think it was kind of a good idea to, take all those people who are intelligent people in their own respects. Like, one girl's like, oh, I do like the maintenance system. This guy's like, oh yeah, I'm an engineer. Like that, So the way he was going to get out of this was like all these people that probably have more inner knowledge of how this works, more of a safety in numbers kind of thing, and putting everybody's heads together. And him getting out to the surface with the rest of these people from Buds, which is interesting because I'm like, I do that shot like when they first came out, because I'm like, wait, he hasn't been to the surface yet either, and I'm assuming none of these people have either. I know that the first thing he says out there is like, wow, it's beautiful. I'm like, it's not exactly the first thing I would have maybe thought. Like, you lived your whole life underground like that, and you didn't actually really truly know what the surface was like.
Well, he's never seen the sky, as far as I know. So
that's also true.
He's never seen the ocean. He's never seen the blue sky. So I mean, because I looked at it and I just saw Santa Monica, because I didn't get a picture of it. But when he looks over, it's what's left of Santa Monica, that pier that's sticking out of Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah,
and
where the salt is. Yeah.
Yeah, so seeing all that opened years ago, that was a vibrant, sprawling place where people did all kinds of awesome things. He just sees it as, hey, I'm breathing fresh air for the first time in my 20-something year existence.
Yeah, maybe not exactly fresh, but yeah, it's air, not just recycled air in the vault. Yeah,
fresh radiated air. I mean, whatever.
yeah, a little spicy air for you, get your blood pumping. I mean, maybe it is a little bit of still the naivety that, like, when you first go up there, you don't really still know what the world is like. Getting attacked by like red scorpions and death claws and shit like that. Having to eat flea soup every other day, for 2 caps, 2 caps a pop. Yeah, I guess, yeah, maybe that's why I didn't really think about that, because I mean, he is seeing like the beach right there, like where the pier would be. So yeah, that would be kind of a weird, overwhelming moment to actually see what outside looks like. Maybe the people who are coming out are kind of like, yeah, weren't we supposed to like come back up and like reclaim the surface and everything was supposed to be hunky dory? Because that didn't happen. I'm like, yeah, no, not really. Humans are annoyingly resilient beings, yes, and we are still going to find a way to continue living in whatever the hellscape comes our way, or may it be by our own doing, which is in this case. But yeah, I don't know where they go from there. I don't know where these people are all going to go now. I mean, it might be better than being in a vault starving to death. So I don't know.
Yeah, they haven't gone back to Vault to where it all began during the show anyway. Was it Vault 33 or 32? 33. Yeah, they haven't gone back to Vault 33 since that little bit in the first episode. So I'm kind of wondering exactly, because there's stuff going on there. They're still trying to figure out the water situation. There's obviously some political intrigue going on there. The blonde lady that is a very terrible mother, apparently, we talked about in the last review. Doesn't remember the name of her own kid. She's like, just name whatever you want. I don't care. Just get the hell out of here. I'm trying to do work.
Chet Jr.
But Chuck Jr. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in there that I'm kind of surprised it at least addressed a little bit in this episode. But
right,
maybe it'll be more important later on the season. Fucking what's his name? Fucking the Roomba with the brain on it. What the hell's his name again?
Bud Eskins.
Bud, yeah. It does look like he's been pretty much dispatched. He was upside down in a garbage can and sparking. The little bit that we actually saw him in this episode. I mean, do you see him coming back? I mean, is there something in the game that tells you he's going to come back, or that another one like him is going to come back, or is that just it for him?
Yeah, that's, like I said, this is all new to like the series. I'm not really sure game wise. He may have a way to come back. Like I said, he is just the brain in the jar. I don't know what other reach he might have, unless it's constricted to that vault. Dealing with the junior executives. I would love that for that not to be the end of him, because I know, like I said, when Norm just goes in there and goes like, "Yeah, Bud's kind of gone," but. They're like, yeah, but do you think he would, give up? Do you think he would have something in place? He wouldn't just leave this with no reason for it. And they're all like, yeah, because they're all a bunch of fanboys for him or something. So, yeah, there might be some other way he gets out of there or figures out how to Oh, that could be a funny. Oh, that could be a real funny joke from like from 4 when you do like the Mechanist stuff, and you can make little robots and shit, and like slap them together and make some abomination of a robot to, you know, you go from ones that sit there and fly around like the little medical droid we saw from season 1, the little ones with the little Sputnik looking ones, and they got the arms.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't think of what they're called. Lose my credibility here. But you can take one of those and like give him like fucking tank treads and like rocket launchers and crap. And I'm like, yeah, it's just kind of hilarious that you can do that. So that might be a funny way if he gets like a new set of legs or something that gives him a little more mobility. And you might start coming after him again. Or maybe the blonde lady discovers it. I don't know. She discovers the other shit going on in that vault, and that's how they come across it. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like she's crooked. I feel like she may not be part of it, but she might be part of the whole scheme overall, but she might kind of be drawn into it and be like, hey, I want to be on this side because I feel like they're going to win. And when they are in power, I want to be one of the people that has power. I feel like he's that shallow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like she's that much of an asshole. She's obviously a bad mother. So I don't think it's that much of a stretch for her to be a opportunistic, power-hungry bitch as well. So, whatever. It's a possibility. But, moving on, we did see Hank do a little bit of work in here. He obviously has found several of the devices in the last episode in various sizes, various areas of being able to work. So of course he defrosts. First off, he starts with a couple of mice, and it goes about as well as you would expect as he continues to work on it, and he makes little bits of progress, and then it goes out one of the executives to bring him back to the world of the living, and then before he can wake up, obviously puts one of the devices on him to test it on a human, and it comes with a pretty obvious outcome, as you can imagine. It did not work out well for him.
Try again.
Obviously, Hank is still working on I'll call them the Neuralink chips for now because I don't remember what they're called. But obviously, he's still working on his version of Elon Musk's Neuralink. What do you notice about where we're at with what Hank's doing right now, and what do you think his next step? What do you think they're setting up his next step to be?
I think at some point he's going to figure this out. Unfortunately, he does work to some degree, right? I mean, we saw somebody use that NCR trooper to get that bomb there to Shady Sands and end up blowing it up. So, or caravaner, not a soldier. It was an NCR caravan guy. So it does work. I mean, they were seeing like they were trying to improve it and make it a little more less noticeable. You got this big chip and this big antenna sticking out of the back of your neck. It's a little bit obvious. So, I think he's trying to get on the verge of like something here but I think the thing again that makes him such a scary person is that like it's that calmness where he's like talking to this executive or this guy really that bought a more expensive ticket. That doesn't also show you the shitty things that Vault Tech does, where they're like, hey, you can buy a spot in the vault, or you could upgrade to the super duper ultra deluxe, whatever the hell he said. And they don't tell you what that is, probably, because I love that he even said, like, did you read the fine print? Like, no, because I didn't. I'm like, that's how they get you. I'm like, yeah, Vault Tech pulled that rug from you, and you don't realize you're about to be part of an experiment. However, down the line, that's just how these go, man. Like, you get in these vaults, and then the problem was they were doing these god awful experiments on people, and that didn't mean that just because it sounded ultra shiny gold, platinum, whatever the hell, that it was going to be anything good. It just meant you just voluntarily signed yourself up to be a lab experiment. And what I'm saying is like that calmness that Hank has, where he's like, yeah, well, we're just going to figure it out together, aren't we? He puts it in there, and this man's head exploded, and he's like, well, if you don't succeed, try again. I'm like, this guy had just such a disregard for human life. It's just disgusting. I'm like, God, great villain. Just damn, he's terrifying in a different way. Like I said,
I thought it was cool that they also made us not like the guy whose head he evaporated, because it's like, you only got the one ticket for you, not for your kids. The guy goes, well, they were expensive.
Yeah.
It's like just more in tune with your own
shitty.
survival and didn't care about your family. So even in being an asshole, he picked a guy to experiment on that we are just kind of like, we're okay if you blow us head off with your crazy Neuralink device.
Yeah, because again, I'm assuming his family still died anyway, but like this is karma coming to, literally blow your head off from this guy. So yeah, he might, I guess I'm kind of scared he might figure this out somehow. Then that has like a lot of bad implications to it. When you start being able to mind control people and it's kind of I won't say streamlined, but it's a little more under the radar. That starts to get terrifying, which is why 4 was terrifying, because when you have synthetic humans that are indistinguishable from real humans, I'm like, which one's the robot? Which one's the real human? I'm like, God, this game is making me paranoid. I don't know who I'm talking to, who is a real person or not, because like they some of the synths don't even know they're not human. It's goddamn. So I don't know, scary shit.
I think there was a little bit of a tell in when you get this view of what he's doing, because he's obvious that it's a computer station that is designed to look a lot like the ones that the overseers are using. So I'm wondering if this isn't some way of him trying to control all the overseers, because it looked like he was trying to get the mouse to go up there and press some buttons. And I'm wondering why do you make it look like an overseer's office, or at least an office thing? Why not make him go to the food dish to get a bite of food and then a water dish to get a drink of water? Why make him go to the computer to press buttons? I think there's something in this picture that is telling of his preferred outcome, what his end game is for this experiment.
Being able
you call that out of this? Is that something that he tries to do in the games?
Like I said, there's not. This is kind of a new plot point for the show. That's like, it's not something quite like that in the game. Like I said, the closest that I've really seen is like the synths that I mentioned, like the synthetic humans, because there's like three different versions. There's and it's real simple. They're Mark 1s, Mark 2s, Mark 3s. The higher up ones, they're more, like I said, they have flesh and they have not organs, but they have indistinguishable human features, and you could control them conceivably. Like, you have these things that can give an army of these people at your disposal. So that's kind of where this seems like it's leaning to me, that he's trying to get people that he can put under his thumb and do his bidding for him, and all he has to do is sit back in the safety of some bunker, kind of like where he's at, and just have other people just be the puppet master pulling these people's strings. Like, for what means, though, I don't know. Like, I don't know what really the true motive is. Like, is it just a power thing? Is it control? Still don't know who he's working for. I don't know if I know the mystery of, like, is Mr. House still around? I don't know. Also, Rachel loved the little computer. She thought that was just absolutely adorable. I'm like, I know, the little overseer's office is just fucking, that's funny. I love that.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's cute and all. I was like, but why? Why not just command him to do things like go over to the wheel and run in the wheel, or why not convince him to walk over here, walk over there? Why specifically to go to the computer? And I wondered, like, is that a psychic nod to us, a little subliminal thing saying that he's going to try to LoJack all the overseers, and so he could run all the overseers remotely or from the central location?
Yeah, I think so.
And kind of control the whole thing, as opposed to just hoping that these people all kind of succumb to his whim. I don't know. It was just very odd to me that they made it look like that. But yeah, you were right. I was just looking at some of the trivia on this on IMDb. It said the brainwashed caravan trader seen at the beginning of the episode repeatedly says to himself, patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. This is a nod to NPC dialogue in Fallout New Vegas in 2010, wherein if the player interacts with certain NPCs, they do not have any specific dialogue to say to them. The phrase will be spoken by them repeatedly. It can be heard so often throughout a normal playthrough of the game that it has become an inside joke in the Fallout community.
Yeah, it is. I know, that's that's such a great nod, because we've all heard that line and we're all just like, yeah. Or some ranger walks by you and you hear him say it. I'm like, yep, I know, man. I know. Sucks out here, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a couple pieces of trivia that aren't very, very long, but a lot of these are very, very long. I don't want to spend
I could give you a quick one. When they go into Area 51, all the Brotherhood, there's a guy holding one of these. He's got this big, obnoxious, like, amalgamation of, like, wires and crap, and it's a gun. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the cryolator from 4. It's a big gun that shoots like a frost like it freezes people and shit. And it looks very, very, very close to the cryolator from 4. It's a weird little Easter egg. And the fact that aliens exist, which they do exist in this universe. But he was more excited about the icebox, so good for him. Yeah.
Yeah, all of these are super long. I don't feel like reading all these. The ghoul mentions that the girl found in the abandoned hospital was, quote, a bit west for her kind, and she refers to Lucy as the profligate. Both are hints that she is a member of Caesar's Legion, a band of raider tribes united under the banner of a man from the Salt Lake Wasteland, who created a society and military modeled after the ancient Roman Empire. That's going to be Caesar's guys that you were talking about already. Caesar's Legion served as the primary antagonist in Fallout New Vegas and was one of the factions fighting for control of Hoover Dam in New Vegas in 2281 rather. Profligate is a derogatory term used by Caesar's Legion for outsiders and enemies like the NCR, or anyone that's seen as immoral, dissolute, and wasteful. I believe that's actually the name of the next episode is Profligate. So that makes sense that they're going to be significant in the oncoming episode.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the stuff is just too long to read. I don't want to spend time reading all this stuff. Christmas stuff with the
I
music.
Can read it and just be like, oh, I could give you some cliff notes on it. I can read this whole paragraph and be like, oh, it's this.
This episode title is referencing something the ghoul told Lucy in The Head 2024. That episode, The Head. Lucy told him a pre-war golden rule, which states, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." His reply was that rule no longer applied in the Wasteland. The golden rule of Wasteland was, "Thou shalt not get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time."
Right.
Which is a reference to which is a reference to the numerous side missions and random encounters in the games, often hours-long tangents for the main story missions. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I got burned out on open world games like that, because I used to play them here and there, but I'm like, it was one of those things where I get home from work at like midnight or 1 o'clock when I was still managing restaurants years ago, and I'm like, I want to play for a little while. Next thing you know, I could see the sun starting to rise in the window. I was like, holy shit, I've been playing this for like 4 hours.
Yeah, no, that happens.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I like to watch, another fellow YouTuber by the name of Nurbit. If anyone ever sees any of his videos, he does like Fallout and Elder Scrolls contents where he'll say, can you beat the game while doing XYZ? And that was actually one very recently that he just did, was can you beat Fallout New Vegas while easily distracted? And he'll always explain, like, so what's the rules here? That is actually what it was. He's like, every time I come across an NPC or somebody, no matter what I'm doing, I have to go do that now. So he's like, so if I go on a quest and I come across someone else says, hey, can you go do this for me? He has to stop and then now go do that quest. And he's like, so can I still beat the game while being distracted by like every single NPC that I come across? And I'm like, oh dear Lord. I'm like, you probably could if you know how to run the right way. And then with New Vegas, I mean, there is still a default ending that you can still get to. But that was a pretty funny challenge run of, yeah, every time you get a new quest, you have to go do that now instead of doing what you were doing. So check him out. His stuff for Fallout and Elder Scrolls, doing challenges like that are really funny to watch.
Yeah, but that seems like a good place to start wrapping this thing up. I don't want to go too late tonight. Because while it was a fun episode, there really wasn't a whole to this one left. So there's going to be plenty more to talk about over the course of the next couple of weeks. We are an episode behind because, Christmas and New Year's kind of threw everything off, but we'll get it all caught up. Don't worry about it. I think it's funner this way. It's going to let us we're going to nurse this a little bit. We're going to be able to kind of slow roll it, have a little bit of fun with it, and not just blow it all up in like 1 or 2 videos and be done with it. I think it's going to be funner to watch it that way. I don't know. So Jeremy, give me your final thoughts on this second episode, The Golden Rule.
Yeah. It's I think I said this I've said this before. I think we're setting up some cool stuff here. I think it's gonna start getting a little bigger. Like I said, now that we have a faction as big and as important as Caesar's Legion is, that Lucy came across. I'm hoping maybe the ghoul has some sort of way of hopefully he's able to go in there and help her, because dear God, again, not a place you want to be. I'm very interested to see what Hank's doing, because like I said, props to Kyle MacLachlan making this character of Hank McLean like just a real slimy dude. that just has no regard for human life, as we've seen. I'm curious to see what his big windup is here for what he's trying to do. And again, back to the ghoul. Like, what is he going to find his family? Are we going to unravel some stuff here about what's been going on with Mr. House? Because it seems like it does kind of tie into like what happened to his family. So bouncing back and forth between the timelines there. So yeah, there's stuff to be excited about. I'm again still crossing my fingers. I'm like, I want to see more NCR. I want to see some of those damn troopers. I want to see more of the troopers, please. These guys. If not, I'll put this helmet on myself. I've got the jacket in there, so, and the service rifle, and a big iron. So, and my other big iron is actually still on the way. It's coming. So maybe one of these episodes I'll have it up here somewhere. There's actually, what about my head? Look at that. There's my Vault-Tec welcome kit that I got, which I'm like, I hate when I find cool things and I'm like, ooh, I'd love to wear this. But I'm like, but it's so cool. I don't want to take it out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Same thing.
It's a cool, it's a sweatshirt. It's like a little letter from Vault-Tec that welcomes you to, their vault or whatever their shit is. And I'm like, yeah. And it's got like a pin in there, a couple things. And I'm like, I want to keep it in the box because it's so cool. And my little bobblehead who's like right next to him. Yeah. I'll make a little Fallout shelf and I'll put this on there. But maybe the NCR is sneaking around the bushes right there. Maybe they'll pop out and give them what for. So who knows? We'll see. Put this back.
Yeah, I really like what they've done with this series so far. It's one of the differences between this and Stranger Things, and Stranger Things managed to work regardless of this, is that while Stranger Things was kind of like all about what everybody was doing to beat Vecna, there's so many different storylines here that can kind of pull you in a lot of different directions. Like I care about whether the ghoul finds out what happened to his family and what condition he finds them in, if he finds them. I think he obviously will, but it's like, are they still going to be in deep freeze, or are they going to finally have died? Lucy's journey to go find her dad. What is her dad, Hank, even doing in trying to, perfect this whole device Neuralink thing? Is there going to be a civil war that Maximus has got himself into? I'm also curious. Dane's a character that's got me kind of curious, because it's like Dane is obviously trying to act as some kind of a moral compass for Maximus, and it's very obvious to me through their interaction in this episode that's working, that he is having some kind of an impact, and it's going to be something that is going to be important down the line. So there's lots of different storylines here that are all balanced very well. They're all very well written, very well produced. I'm into like all these characters are individual things and the one lump sum storylines of Fallout itself that are all very well done, very well handled. I think it's been pretty good. And I've noticed that of all the video game projects that have turned into decent television or film projects, they're all things that and we talked about this in The Last of Us, the people who were there to create the stories for the video games in the beginning are in on the production of the TV shows. And we've talked about how all these people that have been involved with The Last of Us, like one of the main reasons that show has done so well is because the people who were there at the birth of the video game and the storyline for the video game have been involved deeply in writing the show. So they're able to make some changes without really injuring what's at the heart of the story. I think this show has done that very well. Also, is that they've got the writers of the game involved. So like, okay, we can tweak this a little bit as long as we're not too far from the core of the story we're trying to tell. So that's one of the things that's helped these shows in particular be successful. And I don't know if that's been the case in a whole lot of other video game adaptations to screen. I've always thought that Resident Evil was pretty good, despite the fact I don't think anybody that had anything to do with the game was involved in the movies. I thought they were entertaining. No. But Mario Brothers, again, the cartoons are great, but the movies they try to make out of them just don't work. Lots of things. Yeah, we can talk about Assassin's Creed and other things that they've tried to do with video games all the time, and why those have and haven't worked at times. But I do appreciate that the creators of the game are very deeply involved in the storytelling of the TV show as well. Oh, yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why it's working out so well. But I'm very happy to see. I'm very happy with what we've gotten so far in season 2. I'm excited to see what we have moving forward in for the next episode. Which, like I said, I've already kind of seen a little bit of glimpse of the plot line. I didn't want to read too much into it because I haven't seen it yet. But we'll be breaking that down next Thursday. But we'll go ahead and wrap this up there. Again, Fallout's they're on a good path right now. Both Fallout and Stranger Things are on good paths right now. Jared, where can the folks find you, my friend?
Find me here Tuesdays and Thursdays. Holidays are over, so I think we're back to your regular scheduled bullshit. So you're stuck with us again twice a week, unless other circumstances arise. So yeah, that's where we're at. Not sure what we're doing Tuesday. Maybe more Stranger Things.
Tuesday is going to be Stranger Things. Thursday we'll be doing episode 3 of Fallout. We're gonna be about a week behind on Fallout unless we do something crazy with the schedule to try to catch up 2 episodes. I don't really want to do that. I like being able to focus on one episode and having that discussion a little bit at a time. Yeah. Like I said, it gives us a chance to kind of slow roll to savor what we're getting right now, because I think we've liked both these shows with what they've given us so far. So I don't want to. I want to take my time. I want to savor it. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to blow through it all in one video and then just move on to whatever's next. We're gonna definitely finish out both Stranger Things and Fallout. Stranger Things episode whatever the hell, episode 3, 4, 5, 6. It's episode 6 is what we're doing next. 6. So I actually just got a chance today to watch the final episode of Stranger Things, and boy, it's something. That's going to be one lively discussion once we get to that one. But yeah, so we were our some of our death predictions were way off. Some of our death predictions were even farther off than the other ones. It was a very strange ending, a good ending, but unique, very weird. I don't know. You'll see it when you get there. But we'll be back here on Tuesday to do the next episode of Stranger Things, and then Thursday, of course, to do episode 3 of Fallout. Thanks to all of you for coming and hanging out. We very much appreciate it. Thanks to several people watching on Rumble. Please don't forget, go to Rumble and support us as well. We're already growing over there in ways that we're never going to grow on YouTube. So we will see you guys on Tuesday for Stranger Things. Till then, adios. Yeah, you're gonna love doing the horns after Stranger Things. There's still a little bit of Eddie. He doesn't come back or anything, but I mean, it's still good.
Oh well, god damn it!
I know. I figured you knew that. If he was gonna come back, they'd have brought him back already. But I was kind of hoping for like a Force Ghost or something, but they didn't do it. But Fallout's been good too. So.
I don't know. We'll see when we get there.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.